Tuesday night, local swell trackers, thanks for being here. We're taking a look at the jet stream, the large upper air currents that help to spawn and steer storms. This guy is looking pretty good for late April. We have this high pressure that, along with the jet, the high pressure, of course, being down at the surface, keeping those trade winds around. That's pretty typical of spring. A lot of gusty trade wind days. That's what we've been seeing. As we start the animation, you see the jet stream weakens a little bit, but it does have this big dip here. And in fact, it gets down to the point where it gets cut off from the regular jet. And this feature down at the surface is actually forecasted to get a nearby low pressure to our north, forecasted to have seas of 10 to 12 feet at 12 seconds. Now, because it's being generated from this jet stream flow, creating a pinched off low at the surface, it's going to be close interval, big storm surf with funky winds. In fact, this is what's going to bring that cold front. Things are changing up, especially Friday for the west end of the state. Rolling it on further, you can see this is a perfect example. Now it is completely spinning on its own, detached from the jet. Sometimes these don't influence our waves. This one most likely will. Now exactly how big, tough to say, but a 12-second, 12-foot event out there in the open ocean could easily translate to 8 to 12 feet, but it's going to be strange winds and weather, lumpy, bumpy, grumpy, consistent surf because it's generated close by. Now this is Saturday, this is the weekend. It sticks around for quite a while. We are going to see some big waves on Monday too, although it will be dropping rather rapidly, as it will also build rapidly on Sunday. And that's going to be the peak, the 29th. Now, winds, okay, the trade winds are going to be backing down. They're staying pretty fresh until Thursday, where they back down to a moderate pace, and then the winds are going to start to switch from southeast to variable, possibly to a southwest Kona flow. This is all ahead of the front, created by this feature you're looking at right there. And then after the front gets out of here and gets down by the island chain, the front is expected to stall a little bit. And that is going to, we are looking at northerly winds, cold northerly winds. The temperature is going to be dropping. I'll get into that. But this is why. It shows you how important the jet is. That's why I always show some of it here. Now, if we go out 180 hours to Wednesday, May 2nd, you can see that jet's pretty lame. We're hoping that this gets going again off of Japan. Looks like it might try. High pressures are firmly in control. And now let's take a look at the jet down under as we re-roll the 7-day loops. You see a lot of blue down there where we like the reds, up the east coast of New Zealand. There we go. There's a lot of power in that jet. We had some 180 knot winds, and the long haul's looking actually really good. I'll show you the storm that pops the last day of the model runs, and we could get a whomper south swell. I don't want to get too excited though. I mean, at this stage of the game, it may not even happen. Now let's do a little hindcasting. Let's go back about a week, Wednesday the 18th. These surface winds. Remember that the swell we thought was going to be like 5 or 6 feet? Well, the fetch pointed a bit too much to the northeast of us, and so that tricked the Wave Watch 3. It tricked a lot of our top forecasters. Saw the downgrade. I gave it about 5 feet. Mostly it was 4 feet. Anyway, that's the reason why. Little hindcasting helps us to see why we're wrong. This guy spinning in here Friday the 20th, that ramped up this last swell. We saw sunset hits double overhead. We did see some 6-footers out of this guy. A lot of spots were a bit smaller. Again, the track was kind of zonal or west to east, but we did have some decent seas and winds in this guy for last weekend. Here's the next one, staying way up there by Kamchatka. High pressure again in control here at about 1030 millibars, and this is Sunday the 22nd. Okay, now this is Tuesday the 17th, showing that swell that disappointed us right here. And starting in the animations, that guy faded off. And then here was this guy that did, in fact, get us up on Monday to 6 feet, and that had a zonal track as well. Then there's this smaller system up here. This is the one that we're going to hope for that southwest flank of this. It's kind of touching the central to western Aleutians. This will be a slightly weaker 14-second swell. We're anticipating that fetch to be broad enough to bring us up to 6 feet on this Friday. The winds will be a little interesting. We could see epic southeasterly winds, and then they'll veer southwest at some time during the wind transition as the cold front moves close and over the weekend moves down the island chain. Continuing on the animation, we see some broad storm activity up there, but this is the guy right here. Again, gets pinched off. Creation of this system was the jet stream, and it gets so close to us. Now, there's a 1-2 punch within this event. happening this weekend, and because of the proximity, we are expecting some at least 10 or 12 foot seas at about 12 seconds. Going to be a north-northwest to maybe some north-northeast in it. Right now it kind of looks like a north-northwest, straight north. We'll see. And then that is gone. By Wednesday, May 2nd, it's rather quiet in the North Pacific. All right, let's take a look at the swell periods generated by those swells we were looking at. Starting in the animation, here's the one for this Friday. Bam, right here. It'll be dropping off pretty quickly on Saturday. And then continuing on with see some energy coming up from the south of this weekend. Okay, there is that cutoff low to our north, close by, sending a lot of its energy off to our northwest. It had potential to be quite large, but it still is going to be way above advisory levels. I'd say at least 20-foot faces with outer reefs cracking and interesting winds. Again, all for Sunday. Starting in the animation, you can see some minor reinforcement from that 1-2 punch I was pointing out. And then 180 hours out, Wednesday, May 2nd, rather dull. Okay, let's spend a little time down under. You can see a lot of Tasman Sea Fetch. We can see some compact, powerful winds coming up the coast here of New Zealand. It fades out rather quick. Now, again, this was the 17th Wednesday. This stuff does make it up. We are looking at this to be up here actually started reaching the buoys today. So sets were very inconsistent from the southwest. But this will be added to from the southeast sideband swell from this feature down here, which is sending large and charged waves over to the Americas, and especially South America. For us, it'll be more about the southwest swell. The fetches continue for quite a while, and then Saturday the 21st, we get another one coming right up where we like it. If you add about 10 days on, we are looking at a new swell to start to fill in this weekend, Saturday the 28th, from this fetch you see right here. Continue on the animations. It lasts for quite a while. Some severe gales, fairly broad. This one should hit easily 3 feet. This is the 23rd Monday, and then Tuesday we get another pulse, the 24th. And then when you tack on a week onto that, you get May 1st with some 18-second forerunners from this guy right here. And that swell has potential to get even maybe a pinch over 3 feet. Foot overhead, we'll wait and see. So these are the current surface winds. We'll roll them out. Just have a very active, very consistent season so far for April. Nothing's been big, but it's been very consistent. And here's all the storms that you're seeing right here helping our cause. That last one's definitely the most powerful as the jet energizes with this guy right there. Large fetch May 1st and could produce, our first real south swell of 3 to 5, but I get way ahead of myself. But let me just show it to you right here. Tuesday, Wednesday, May 1st, May 2nd. This is a beast. And if this thing comes true, we are definitely looking at advisory level southwest swell. And it would be about, May 8th, May 9th, if Model Fantasy plays out. Let me go back here a week to today, Tuesday the 24th. This isn't bad right here. This one's going to be bringing us in some 3-foot waves. You can tell the difference between these storms. Take a look. This is a week out, and this is today. If this guy can bring us up to 3 feet, that other one should be bringing us up near double. But you know what I said. I'm getting too excited. And the key with this other system, if it does give birth, it's got to have the proper track. And you just never really know about these guys. But the jet's very energized. We get some zonal storms, and then here's this one that comes around. It looks like from the gist of it right now, it's a huge purple blob, but it is tracking mostly zonal. We like them to move meridionally, which is north. I'm going to go back a week from today, Tuesday the 17th. Here's the Taz Sea that's bringing us our waves that was showing on the buoys today from this blob right here. Here's a little guy just to the east of New Zealand. They don't last very long, so neither will these swells, but luckily, as I was showing you, we have plenty of follow-up. So taking a look at the swell periods emanating out from those low pressures from the Tasman Sea, and then here from the southwest, we have 1, 2, 3 punches. Here comes a really big one for late in the model runs with some 18-20 second forerunners possible thanks to those high winds. The higher the winds, hurricane force can bring those periods up to 20-22 seconds, which is about the average. All right, we're going to take a look at the hand-drawn surface charts. The high pressures definitely looking like spring. They're very strong. They're very persistent. This low pressure between us and California has a bit of a front to it. This is not the one that's for this weekend. There's that wide fetch for Friday's swell here from this low pressure that's up into the Bering Sea now. But as I said, these high pressures moving in. This is going to be fairly typical for the summer. Now let's go from the surface all the way up to the water vapor loops, showing features about 20,000 feet up. The stable sinking air mass are the brown regions. Below us, the intertropical convergence zone. Google it. And up here, those low pressures, bringing in some weather, but the main feature is not showing on this model, which is only a few hours. But we are again in a fairly stable air mass, which we have not been used to since the start of 2018. Here's another view of us sitting out here about 20 north, 160 west, the most geographically isolated landmass on planet Earth. You can see that low pressure I was pointing out between us and California is going counterclockwise here. A lot of clouds just to our south, man, lighting up here. The intertropical convergence zone is normally not quite that close. And then that large spinner up here I was pointing to really makes a difference what models you're looking at. Drilling down a little bit further, you can see the east-northeast flow of the surface clouds, thanks to the gusty trade winds that are blowing 15 to 25 with up to 30-mile-per-hour gusts. Drilling down a little bit more, you can see all in all, though, Windward and Mauka getting the bulk of the clouds, a few embedded showers, and occasionally spilling over. And we are heading into a funky pattern here towards the weekend. I was showing you why. Highs are going to be about 80, 82 here in the next couple days, 69 lows. But after this front gets out of here and we have the cold northerly winds coming in behind it, 65-degree lows and 77 highs. Again, that'd be for Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be a lot cooler temperatures to go along with the big storm surf. And the reflective loops showing, hey, quite a bit of rain, not only in the coastal areas, but also in the channels. But compared to what we've been seeing, we're definitely going to be drying up as we get towards summer. And we'll end up with the incredible models of windy.com. You can see those upstream trade winds leading to the 8-9 second periods. It was all orange earlier this week. That's why it was a bit bigger. This will be easing as we go through time. Zooming out, you can see this. This is the guy moving zonal, but bringing us our waves for Friday. And we can move the models ahead. Thursday, the afternoon, Saturday. There you go. Finish off with this guy. And you can see how a lot of it, though, off to our northwest, plenty will be pointed right in on us and not from very far away, 300 to 600 miles away. And this is 4 a.m. Saturday. Okay, that's the local swell tracker. Thanks for listening to me jabber. We'll be back here in about a week at surfnewsnetwork.com with your next update. Mahalo.